Hi, it's Kim from Expressions of the Universe, and I'm here with your weekly wisdom for June 13th through June 18th, June 19th. One day I'll get it right. So I also have a pick a card for all of you. I haven't even looked at these cards. So is it going to be card one, card two, or card three? I have not looked at these. These are angel cards from, I believe, Diana Cooper. Could be wrong, but I think that's who these are from. So card one, card two, card three. I'll get to your answers in just a moment. My crystal of the week is fluorite, and I have a really nice piece of fluorite here. It's a little pale. That is a beautiful purple fluorite, and they do come in a wide variety of colors, ranging from clear to pink to green to purple. And let's see if I can just block the light a little bit so you can see some of the colors. It's super healing. It's really great, this piece, because of the green. It's really great for your heart chakra. This card says self-discipline, and I think that will be great now that Mars has moved into Leo. So it's like fire on fire. It should be steamy and sexy for the next 6 weeks, or it could be a little argumentative and aggressive, which I'm hoping it isn't. But with the Mercury retrograde and the new moon and solar eclipse that we're just coming off of, I don't know if it's because it directly conjuncts my North Node, my own personal Mercury, my Sun, my Jupiter, and my Venus, all in Gemini. I don't know if that's why I had some aggressions thrown at me, for a blast from the past. Really bizarre voicemail from a relative, like out of the blue. It was very weird, but it's like, is that a test? And I think we're all being tested right now with choices. So it's like some things could be appearing as a brand new opportunity for us, but we have to stop and think for a moment, because it could be a test of an old lesson and how it is that we are treating ourselves, especially because we see things as we are, not the way that they really are. So we have to take all of that into consideration. Definitely, we need to be grounding. We need to be doing a lot of deep breathing on Facebook and maybe Instagram. I'm not sure if it cross-shared. I spoke about the Buddhi Mudra, which I learned from Cameron Allen, who is an amazing astrologer, very transcendental astrologer. But the Buddhi Mudra is when you take your pinky and your thumb, and there's two different ways of doing it. So you can press the soft portion into, and I can't keep my fingers straight. So you may find that maybe with more practice, and you just, allow yourself to relax, and you do some deep breathing for 1, 2, 3 minutes. What this does, it clears your energy, it clears your mind, it helps you ground, helps to bring you back into your body. It also taps into your crown chakra, your third eye chakra, and your intuition. Now, there's another way. I think with the soft pressure, it's supposed to be 3 minutes. You can also do some throat sounds and chanting, like or go through the vowels. You have to feel it really in your vocal cords. That helps to clear your throat chakra. But if you only have a minute, you can take the nails, in, even if they're short, and press that into the thumb. Like, you can really feel it, and do that with the deep breathing eyes closed for 1 full minute. It's an instant connection. Dogs fighting over bones. I don't know if you heard that. What else? Yeah, super intense new moon and solar eclipse. So I woke up early, as I believe it could only be seen here on the East Coast. They said from Philadelphia to Toronto. I got a couple of good pictures. I know some people in Toronto that got a really amazing fiery pictures from like New York and north. But the energy was so intense. When I went outside, it was kind of overcast and cloudy, yet the light was so bright, it was almost fluorescent. And it hurt to look at the trees and things around because it was so bright, yet not warm. It was quite chilly here. That intense energy leading up to the apex of the new moon and the solar eclipse gave me such a bad headache, and I kept going in and out, because I just didn't want to miss it. And you can't really look at a solar eclipse. You have to have the special glasses. But I kept taking my phone and just holding it up to where it was with some good polarized sunglasses, not looking at it and taking pictures of it. However, I felt halfway through the eclipse, which was, somewhere around maybe 8 o'clock a.m., because this eclipse lasted an hour and 40 minutes. I felt like I was underwater in a fish tank, like just surrounded in fluid. My head was not connected to my body. I felt really spaced out. It was the most bizarre feeling. And, I went outside barefoot in the grass, and I did Buddhi Mudra facing that eclipse, and I breathed through it, and I did come back. But then I got to tell you, I went to bed at 7 p.m. that night, and I slept for over 12 hours. I was wiped out. I was wiped out for 2 days, and even waking up today after a halfway decent night's sleep, I just am lacking in the energy. So I don't know if all of you are, but if you are, just know that it's normal. It is totally normal. So my goddess of the week, interestingly enough, it's Isis, and she speaks of a rebirth. This is about soul retrieval. This is a reinvention. This is picking up your wounded pieces and putting them back together again. This is taking things that you thought were broken within you and healing them. This is such a great time for that healing energy. And this is also giving us that glimmer of hope that the things that we thought were so bad are really just, like the weight of the thoughts in our minds that are our perception. Because most of this just doesn't even matter. So I will get into details about her on Facebook and Instagram and my website, expressionsoftheuniverse.com. I will write about her and post that. I'm going to try and do it for Monday. Let's cross fingers. I'll give us more information about the fluoride also this week on Facebook and Instagram. And I also pulled a card for, like mid to end of the week from Wisdom of the Avalon deck. And I love its frog. And so although this says cleaning house, releasing emotional baggage, I always think of springtime, new beginnings, rebirth, when I see the frog because of their life cycle. So it really correlates to the Isis Power Goddess card. And I'll give us some more information on this animal totem later in the week. Let's get to the pick a card. All right, so card number 1, card number 2, card number 3. I'm choosing card 2. I have not even looked at these yet at all. Even when I was holding it up to do the picture, didn't look at them. I had my glasses off and I kept my gaze staring straight ahead because I want to be surprised too. Oh, and then I'll talk about the astrology coming up in a minute, but let's do your cards. All right, so if you chose card number 1, and I will need glasses in order to read these, it is Archangel Zadkiel. And if I'm not mistaken, wait, get that up in there for you. If I'm not mistaken, he astrologically, he represents the sign of Gemini, and that's what the sun is in right now. That's what the new moon and the solar eclipse were in. So here we go again, the synchronicity of that. Archangel Zadkiel will help you to find tolerance and forgiveness. He works on the violet ray of purification and transmutation, helping you to release lower vibrations and ascend to a higher way of being. Angel wisdom suggests that you visualize yourself in the violet flame and invoke Archangel Zadkiel to help you. Place your troubles and difficult relationships within the flame so that all negativity is transmuted. You are blessed to have drawn this card today, for it indicates that you are ready to walk the path of light. Your affirmation is, I am cleansed within the violet flame. So if you have been struggling with those broken pieces, those shadow pieces, those wounded pieces, Archangel Zadkiel is perfect for that. You can visualize those hurts, those wounds, those pains, the things that you need to forgive. You can visualize them as an object or a color or, whatever your mind comes up with, and wrap it up in a blanket and then visualize putting that into the violet flame and it burning up, and visualize the smoke carrying off into the universe, like as if the universe or the angels are actually taking your troubles away. All right, the middle card, and that's what I picked, card 2, it's curiosity. Curiosity says, see life through the curious eyes of a child, and you will discover a never-ending source of happiness and excitement. I love that. Curiosity keeps you alive, interested, and interesting. The angels are inviting you to be curious about yourself. Start exploring who you are, and you will grow personally and spiritually. Be interested in people, and you will discover an eternal source of fascination. Be curious about the wonderful universe in which you live, about the angels themselves and their roles in the divine plan. The radiance of your delight in life will illuminate you. And your affirmation is, I explore the wonder of life. And I think that's why I love what I do, because I'm fascinated by people. I'm fascinated by their psyche and their thoughts and what's going on in their lives and how it correlates to their astrology chart and the planetary transits. I mean, it's just never ending. Like astrology, you never stop learning aspects of it. I mean, I'm constantly, every single day, learning something new. And I've been doing this for 47 years. It just never gets old. And that within itself tells me that that's what I'm meant to do, because when something can hold your curiosity and your passion and your wonder for that long of a period of time, it's not like it's a job. It's actually, fun for me. And yeah, it gets daunting once in a while, but I always find a way to change it up and make it interesting for myself. All right, card number 3, vulnerability. Oh, this is a really good combination of cards today. Vulnerability. Only the brave and open-hearted dare to allow themselves to be vulnerable, for it requires courage to take down all walls and expose your humanness. Your angel guidance is to become aware of your defense mechanisms, which keep you separate from others and the divine. Ask your angels to help you dissolve your masks and barriers so that your fragile true self can emerge like a butterfly from the cocoon. The reward is freedom, love, and a sense of inner safety. So dare to be vulnerable and open. And your affirmation is, vulnerability is my strength. All right, now, I hope you liked that. I hope you enjoyed the card that you chose. And the wonderful thing about this is you don't even have to be picking it today. The pick a card is always relevant. So even if you look at any of my other pick a card videos, you can go into them and pick a card, even if it has a date on it, because it's relevant to the time that you're watching it. And I do have a whole library of pick a cards. All right, so for this week's astrology, the big player here is Uranus squaring Saturn. Now, typically, you would put the faster planet ahead of the slower planet, Saturn, Uranus, but Saturn is retrograde. So Uranus, which is the new, the innovative, a little bit of a chaos maker because he's changing things up, is squaring, fighting, not a full opposition, it's a square. So it's an argument, it's a challenge. Saturn, our old structures, our old foundation, the old rules. And so it is more of that old, the new versus the old. This will be the second exact square this year out of 3. The other one comes later at the end of the year. And that's what the theme is this year. It's old versus new, new versus old. And, like I had this epiphany last night about it. I feel as though, in the coming months, over the summer, we'll definitely be getting some shocking news, things that have, now here's the thing, it's like things that have been out there. This is what my epiphany was. So like this old versus new, or like the old becomes new again type of thing. It's like something that has been out in our awareness reemerges in a different way. And that's what I was picking up. And there was like this analogy going through my mind of thinking about flight and the evolution of flight. So now you have to think, this is really very much an air year. With Saturn being in Aquarius, we started off in that Aquarian, very airy energy. So, air travel, air flight, UFOs maybe, that all comes into play. UFOs is definitely Aquarius, Uranus energy. But I was thinking about the evolution of flight, starting with the Wright brothers at Kitty Hawk, North Carolina, and then how that evolved to rocket ships going out into space. And I believe it was like the 40s or the 50s when people were trying to develop these rocket ships that could go into space. And a lot of aeronautic scientists, professors all around the world, some of the smartest people, they couldn't fathom how something could leave our atmosphere here on Earth without being destroyed. And so, the thought of just because we haven't seen it doesn't mean that it's not possible. So that's part of the theme that I was picking up from my guides. This can play out in all different aspects of our lives. I'm just giving one example of what I was thinking of, but I do feel like it's something big. Also, too, interesting, I don't know the exact date, and damn, I meant to look it up. Maybe I can do it while I'm here. But the G8 summit came to my mind. The G7 summit came to my mind. That's occurring in the UK right now, and I think it begins on Monday, June 14th, when the square is happening. Let me just look real quick. I have got to get going. Oh my goodness, this morning's getting away from me. I am at Solutions for Daily Living today, so I got to get my act together. When is this? I want a date. Oh, day one of the summit. Well, it began. So, I mean, this summit, the dates are June 11th through the 13th. Okay, so interesting, because these talks are happening where world leaders all come together to discuss world problems, world issues. Interestingly enough, this square happens after. So we could be hearing, starting to hear news from that G7 summit about what's going on in the world. Do we hear everything? No, we don't. The other things that are at play this week are that I was keeping my eye on: Venus sextiling Neptune on Sunday, June 13th. So this is saying to me that Venus is allowing us to get rid of and let certain things die. Now think about Isis and this frog card, and then the fluorite card. That there's a play on that. Venus brings that softness. The sun is squaring Neptune, sun in Gemini squaring Neptune and Pisces. That could bring some mental fogginess and cloudiness. Let's see what else. Mercury retrograde is squaring Mars in Leo. And so, I think that we could be this week thinking back on past relationships, past pleasures, past romance, really kind of thinking back and being sentimental about our own childhoods, possibly. Then, we have that square. There's a lot of emotion behind that Uranus and Saturn square too, because I'll show you in a second how. Let me just do it now. Saturn will be opposing the moon, our emotions, and Uranus will be squaring it. So it's like Saturn, the old rules, our foundations, what we're already used to and everything, is full out in war with our heart and emotions in Leo and Mars. And then you've got Uranus, the new, is challenging our emotions. So I feel like it's almost as if Uranus is like, come on, get on board the groovy train. And Saturn is saying, don't you dare, don't you dare, don't let your heart go there. That's what it feels like to me. All right, I got to share my screen. Let me make sure that I have the correct thing up. So when I show you, yeah, let's bring that up. The event of June 14th. And I'll share my screen with you. Okay. There we go. All right, so we can see here's Saturn, here's Uranus. They're both at 13 degrees, 6 seconds. I tried to line it up. Now, you'll notice Saturn is retrograde. That heavy red line, that's the square, 90 degrees. That's where the challenge is. Look what's lying in between: Jupiter, Neptune, Pallas, Chiron. So, I think that like our emotions, our wounds do come up through this. the opposition of the moon, Saturn, there's the moon in Leo, that thinner red line, that's the opposition, like that's the big fight. And then you have Uranus squaring. So the opposition is 180 degrees, the square is 90 degrees, because it's half of that. Also, too, take a look at where this is happening. So sixth house, that's about our health, daily routine, the details in our lives, could be our small pets. It's also what we do in life to pay our bills, like, it could be, our mundane job. And then third house. So that's about our community, our neighborhoods, our siblings, possibly cousins. It's also our transportation. So it's in Aquarius, cars, day trips, short jaunts. It's also elementary education. So it's like kind of like the roots of what we knew. Yeah, what else do I pick up about that? Oh, you know what I was thinking was interesting? So the ascendant during this square, the rising sign, it's in Scorpio at 21 degrees. Scorpio is about secrets. So I feel as though that we're not going to maybe hear anything huge right away because things are being kept secret. And it's about a belief system. That's what the 21 is. And so there's going to be a change, a restructure of our beliefs. We also have the South Node right in here, which is the old, getting rid of. What else? I think that's really pretty much, the main things that I wanted to speak about. I do want to point out that Ceres, the goddess of grain and harvest and abundance, is riding right next to Uranus, riding shotgun. And so there could be fears coming out about a sense of lack, of not having enough, being unsure. This could also bring out a food shortage or a supply shortage of some sort, rising prices. We've been seeing that. But we could be going through, between now and that next square. So that would be like the next, 4 to 6 months. There could be some shortages in supplies of food and everything. So if you just stock up on staples or whatever, kind of like we had to do in the pandemic, you'll make yourselves feel secure. This is a great time to also plant a vegetable garden, and therefore you don't have to worry about there being a shortage or a price increase because you've been growing your own. It's interesting too that this is in the 6th house, so that's Virgo, that's the earth, that's Mother Earth and planting. When I think about that, yeah, so we've got that square between Ceres and the moon as well. So I feel like that's fears bubbling up, bubbling out. And that's what I have for you for this week. The 17th looks hot and steamy because we have Venus trining Neptune. So we're kind of, we're seeing things and people with rose-colored glasses. Venus will also be sextiling Mars, in that steamy sexiness. So I think our libidos could be climbing on the 17th, which is Thursday. Mercury retrograde will be squaring Saturn on Friday, the 18th. I feel as though like that's definite past sentimentality, Mercury having a conversation. I also feel like so my guides are telling me right now that this Mercury retrograde square Saturn could be something coming out in the news, because I was like seeing something written like in a headline. So we'll keep our eyes open for that. And then Saturday, June 19th, Mars sextiling Mercury. So be careful what people are saying to you. So could this be aggressive verbalization, or with, you know, all of that Neptunian energy, somebody may be saying something, we're not really hearing them clearly, or we're hearing what we think they, you know, like we want to hear from them. Like, so, you know, lovers making promises that they can't keep, Mercury retrograde. So be kind of wary of that. And, you know, Mercury will be stationing direct on June 22nd. So we're coming out of that. Jupiter will be stationing retrograde on June 20th. And then Neptune will be retrograding on the 25th. So a lot going on next week. And I'll have to come back. And then, of course, we have the full moon on the 24th. So that's what I have for y'all. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please share it with your friends. And check me out on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, obviously, my website at expressionsoftheuniverse.com. Subscribe to my channel, check out my other videos, and I'll see you next week. Just stay in the stillness, keep breathing, and everything will be okay. I love you. Bye. I can end this.